Hi guys, welcome to my channel. How are y'all doing today? So here today on Abby the Witch, we are going to be talking all about Samhain, also known as Halloween. Before I jump into today's topic, let's talk about the giveaway. As I am recording this, I have finally reached 350 subscribers. Maybe I'll lose some subscribers by the time I post this. I don't really care. As I'm recording this, it's 350, so that's all that matters to me. So to enter this giveaway, please make sure you're subscribed, comment on this video, and also give this video a like as well. Do all three of those things and you are automatically entered into the giveaway. I'm going to make the giveaway a little surprise. It is just going to be a little witchy something, nothing too extravagant, but definitely a way of me saying thank you to at least one of you beautiful subscribers. Thank you so much to all the new subscribers who are joining my channel. Welcome, thank you so much. We're very happy to have you here. So Samhain is technically on October 31st, but in my opinion, Samhain really lasts from the beginning of October, maybe even from the autumn equinox all the way through Yule, really. Maybe all the way to like December-ish. It's not really like an exact date. It's just really this time of year. While some witches might say, no, it is October 31st through November 1st, and that is it. If that's what you believe, then that is great. I truly believe that Samhain is a time of the year. It is a time span from around the autumn equinox, maybe like the 1st of October through almost Yule time. That's when I think the veil is the thinnest. And I'll get into what the veil being thin really means for those of you watching that don't really know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of different traditional ways you can celebrate Samhain. However, I am going to mention a lot of ways I personally celebrate Samhain that other witches may or may not do. All of these things have proven to be a great way to celebrate for me, and I really hope that maybe this inspires you to do some things for Samhain yourself. I am going to post a part 2 to this Samhain themed video. I was gonna do it in this video, but that would just be too long and too much editing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to a graveyard and do some necromancy. Now, I actually did this last year, so it's kind of becoming a tradition. I feel like having like, you know, this Samhain themed video and then going to a graveyard and talking to spirits. I did it last year too. I did it last year with some people I no longer talk to, thank the universe, but I will do it again with just me and my husband this year. However, last year it was one whole video, but I think this year I'm going to upload this video as soon as possible. And then later this week, maybe by Friday, hopefully, I'll have part 2, me in the graveyard, posted. Okay guys, let's go ahead. I've talked way too much already. Let's go ahead and dive into how I celebrate personally and traditional ways of celebrating Samhain. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about was family time and ancestors, okay? This time of year is all about honoring your ancestors, and it is really known for being the season of the dead. The veil is at its thinnest this time of year, and that means that the barrier between our realm and the spirit realm is very thin. So it's a lot easier to communicate with spirits like our ancestors this time of year because of that. I even invite other spirits into my home as well, benevolent spirits. That might be too much for some people, but I love it. I'm a left-hand path witch. I'm a dark witch, so I love necromancy. I love communicating with spirits. Don't get me wrong, it can definitely creep me out. I have had a haunting at my house before. If you watch actually last year's Samhain video, I talk about how my house used to be haunted. So I can actually link last year's Samhain video down below if you guys are interested in checking that out. I go into more detail about that. And that was definitely very, very freaky, but definitely still interesting and intriguing to me at the same time. I also, this time of year, spend a lot of time with relatives that are still alive. We get together, we do a lot of eating, we do pumpkin carving, sitting around fires, talking, laughing. Where's Vernay? Ah! Where's Vernay? Where is she?
I mean, I could do both.
Where's Vernay? And just spending time being grateful for each other. This is also what this time of year is good for, is gratitude and being grateful for your loved ones and other things that you have in your life. Now, family, when I say family, it doesn't have to be blood, okay? This can be anyone that you call your family or your loved ones, okay? Whether they're still living or dead. Now this leads me into the next thing I want to talk about, and that is the usage of wood sorrel. Now this is something that I do personally. Wood sorrel is a plant also known as yellow wood sorrel. Okay, you can find it all over North America. You can also find it in parts of Eurasia and in Britain as well. I use wood sorrel to invite in spirits and my ancestors into my home. Now, I do want to let you guys know that it is very important. I really want to emphasize that you invite benevolent or good spirits and good benevolent ancestors into your home, okay? Now, I say this because I don't think that, you know, there are like evil demons out to get you or anything like that. Nothing like stupid like that. But I do believe that there are human beings that are bad people on this planet, and they are bad people in life, and they are also bad spirits in death. Especially being a person of Northern European descent, aka a white person, there are definitely some ancestors that I'm sure were not very nice people. We're not very good people. I don't want to fuck with them. I don't want them around. Even if they didn't harm me, I don't want them around. I don't. So I only honor and invite in good ancestors and good spirits that would never harm or have no bad in their hearts and only love in their hearts. And that's the only spirits and ancestors I want around my house. So just letting you know, that's probably a good idea to do that, especially for a white person. At least that's just how I feel, I guess. I think it's very important. So how do I use wood sorrel? Well, I usually dry it out and I will hang it outside of my front door. I'll hang it right by my front door. And this to me acts like a landmark or a way of inviting my ancestors in to my home. This happened a couple years ago, or started a couple years ago, when I meditated with wood sorrel, and it told me it was good for ancestry work. Maybe other witches disagree with me. I'm not really sure, but this has worked really well for me. So give it a shot. Meditate with some wood sorrel and see what it tells you. I also hang this in my sacred space. This invites my ancestors into this space as well. You could also leave this out as an offering. At least for my ancestors, they really like it as an offering. It works better as an invitation and as like a landmark. But you could totally leave this as an offering. Again, just meditate with wood sorrel, meditate and try to get in contact with your ancestors and just see what happens, see what they want, see what they like. You could, after this is dried out, you could burn this as incense. Now, I have never done this, but I feel like this could work really, really well. Now, it's not thriving this time of year, but it will still work great. You can find it outside still. It might be a little brown in color, but again, still very effective, still should work just fine. And you may not have time to dry it out before Samhain, but that's totally fine. You can just bundle it up, hang it, and it'll work great, okay? And again, Samhain doesn't have to be just October 31st, you guys. Samhain can be all through November too. That energy, I feel, is still there. That veil may be starting to close a little bit, but it's still very thin, okay, through November, I feel. If you can remember this in time for next summer, that's when it's usually like all over the place and it is green and lush. Fun fact, wood sorrel also tastes a lot like Granny Smith apple. It does. Now be careful tasting it in certain places. You never know where they spray or anything like that. And make sure you rinse it really well before you taste it. But yeah, it tastes like sour apple. It's very interesting. But anyway, I'll harvest a bunch in the summertime and hang it and dry it out, and then I can utilize it throughout the fall. Okay, another thing to do during Samhain is having a bonfire. It's actually very traditional to have bonfires really in any Sabbath, in any witchy Sabbath. I've noticed bonfires are a frequent way to celebrate that time of year, and Samhain is no exception. There's something very pagan and primal about sitting around a fire at night, for sure. Samhain is also known as the third and final harvest, so lots of times I'll take a little bit of our own harvest and throw it into the fire as an offering, as a way of saying thank you. Samhain is also known as the Witch's New Year, so banishing and new beginnings is a very popular thing to do this time of year. Lots of times I will write something down on a piece of paper that I want to get rid of, like bad habits or toxic behaviors or whatever, anything that you want to get rid of in your life. I will write it down on a piece of paper and I will throw it into that bonfire with the intention of banishing it. The next thing I really want to talk about is also a traditional thing to do during Samhain, and that is the Dumb Supper. Kind of a silly name, but that is what it's called. It is a quiet dinner that you have with the dead, basically. You sit around the dining room table or wherever you eat dinner and you don't talk, and lots of times the lights are dimmed and you set a place out for your past relatives, your ancestors. And I even give them a little bit of food as well. And you sit in silence with the dead and you eat your dinner. After this dinner is done, I will take the food that was left out for them and I will give it to the earth outside. I will give it back to the earth. I'll, pour it in my compost pile or something, as a way of giving back, as a way of thanking, as a way of giving an offering, I guess. That's the best way. I'd rather do that than just pour it in the trash, I'd rather give it back to the earth, or in a way giving it back to the spirits for them to have. This time of year, I also really like to have a certain item where the spirits or my ancestors can reside. Now, a lot of people only do that this time of year, but I actually have a little bluebird charm that I leave out year round. This is for my grandpa Jarrett specifically. Also, I talked about this in last year's Samhain video, but he presents himself as a bluebird to me. Loved bird watching in life. One of his favorite birds was an eastern bluebird, and yeah, he's shown himself as a bluebird in my dreams several times. Especially this time of year, and since I've tapped into my inner witch, he has presented himself as a bluebird, just in life, just seeing it while I'm awake. And if you know about birds and animals at all, you know that the eastern bluebird definitely isn't a bird that you see all the time, right? It's not like the common robin or a sparrow or something like that. It's not, they're kind of rare. I don't want to say rare, but they're elusive, I should say. They're pretty elusive. You don't see them frequently just flying around. So I love it when I see one and I know it's him. I know it's him. So anyway, I have a little bluebird charm for him to kind of like come and go and reside in if he wants to. But again, you can do that just this time of year while the veil is it's at its thinnest if you want to, or you can be like me and just leave it out year round if you want to. You could also make an entire ancestry altar. This is very popular with witches this time of year. They will actually make an entire altar with photographs of their ancestors and maybe old antiques that's been passed down generation to generation that they'll put out on their altar. Just different things that they think their ancestors would love. So you could do that this time of year. I don't really feel the need to make an ancestor altar because I feel like my whole home, I try to invite them into my home. I think ancestor altars are beautiful. If you feel called to do that, if you feel like that's a good way to honor your ancestors and make them feel at home, by all means. I simply feel that by hanging my wood sorrel outside, that is a way of me inviting them in and making them feel at home and telling them, hey, my space is your space. So please come in. The last thing I want to talk about is pretty simple, and that is just spending time outside. Enjoy the season and breathe in the crisp, chilled air. Give thanks for all the beautiful colors. Really just soak it all in and enjoy it while it's here. Take a walk through the woods and look at all of the colors. Go to a graveyard and leave an offering. You could go to a pumpkin patch. Take a drive through the country and look at all of the beautiful leaves. This time of year is so fun, and there's so many cool, fun things to do outside. I also, while I'm outside, love to collect little things like acorns that have fallen or beautiful leaves that have fallen and put it on my altar to kind of just bring that theme inside, just honoring Samhain and Mabon as well. So that's really it, guys. Those are all the traditional ways to celebrate Samhain that I wanted to talk about, and all the ways that I personally celebrate Samhain that I wanted to talk about. Don't forget to enter the giveaway by subscribing, commenting on this video, and liking this video. And don't forget too, I am uploading part 2 of my Samhain themed video later this week, hopefully by Friday. I hope you have a wonderful Samhain, happy Samhain, happy Halloween. And let me know how you personally celebrate Samhain. I would be very curious to know. I will see you guys at the graveyard. Follow the snake. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Titled, oh my God, slow down. Also, before we jump in, I just have to show you guys, look, I got a tiny little baby Baphomet. And guess what his name is online? Guess what they named him? Bathaboo. Ah. At our grasp, at our, what am I trying to say? Oh, I think my husband's home from the dentist. He's gonna be numb. I also hang it in my sacred space. This also, ancestors. You serious? Hello? Hello? God, I hate that shit.